welcome back to Generations to Hunt podcast. This is Stay Out September, and it's September,
It is.
so that's what we're doing.
Yeah, week 5.
Yeah, we're not going into the woods.
No, no, I'm done.
Yeah, hopefully.
It's too hot. Or
yeah,
it's been too hot.
91 today, so it's definitely does not feel like fall. For a moment, it did.
It did.
Yeah, so luckily we're going into Labor Day weekend, and hopefully, let's just say that if you hear this week, Labor Day is basically your last hope if you haven't been able to get out there. Like, suggest maybe not, but this is your last hurrah. Some people got a 3-day weekend; they can go up to the cabin and do their stuff. Go for it, dude. So. It is what it is. I understand everybody's in a time crunch and stuff happens, but I mean, this September, we're basically gonna be focusing on you yourself as a hunter, the stuff that you can control almost, and so there's no excuses when it comes time.
Right. Yeah, everything inside the house. So that's how we kind of set this up. Was August was everything outside of the house. Now it's everything inside the house. What can you do? Like Joe said. So week 1 of September, we're going to title it "Training Starts Now," and training meaning physical, like getting into shape, your gear, whether if you got a new stand or a new saddle, practicing with that, training with that, setting that up, and then training when it comes to archery. Shooting at weird angles, shooting from an elevated position. So that's what we're going to be talking about this week. And when it comes to physical training, that's something that's near and dear to my heart. I'm a big gym nut, you could say. I like to run. So that's kind of a year-round approach to me is running. So I like to constantly stay in shape. But what doesn't translate from running, especially on like a treadmill or even flat ground, is throw a 30, 40, 50-pound pack on your back, put on some boots, and go walk through mud and cattails and over branches and hopping over fallen trees and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, you might be in, quote unquote shape from running over the summer or whatever it is, but are you in hunting shape? Have you really loaded up that pack and gone for rucks? I think that's a thing that people overlook, is simulating how you're entering the woods.
Yeah, and I can I'm like I bear witness to it. Is me. I was trying to journey. I was doing my fitness journey, and I was rucking really hard, walking every day, and then I just kept adding weight and all that. And maybe on me, it was too fast a progression, and it really messed my back up. And I can't imagine if I went from 0 weight to 30 pounds on my back, how much bad that would be. Worse probably for your back on a bad, if you have one, you work construction or something like I do. So let's not be the first time you go out there. Maybe start small, 5-10 pounds. I mean, you walk a mile with 5-10, people laugh at you with 5-10, they say 5-10 pounds. You only got 5-10 pounds, walk a mile or two, and that weight, you'll be wanting to throw every pound out of that pack. And then once you start to get up to 20 and 30, man, I don't know, some of these guys, you run a hang on and all that, man. Even with these light setups, man, you're still sub 15 pounds, and at least without your bow, I would say. So you got your bow, and that's another 5-10 pounds. I don't know how heavy some of these bows goes and all that. These people with 700 grain arrows.
Who would do that?
So yeah, man, it's definitely something like you don't want to find out. And like you were talking about deadfalls, I had like incident in Indiana. I was going down this creek. I went into this creek, walked up the creek, and then on the way back, I was like, I don't want to go in the creek, man. It's just cold. I don't want to get my, that feeling of water on my, and there's so many deadfalls. I was just going over after like a quarter of the way back. I was like, I'm gonna take my feet to be cold over going over these deadfalls. You know what I mean? I was like, I'd rather be cold feet than die from exhaustion. So
Right. I was out setting cams a couple weeks ago, and it was mid 80s, and I had to cross a creek, and I knew it was deep, and I was like, oh, this is going to feel so good. So I took my boots off, walked across it, and just kind of stood there in the middle, and was like, oh, man, this is nice.
yeah.
But yeah, when it's a late season hunt, though, that's a little bit different.
Yeah, and then maybe this is the perfect time. Like you ruck with your stuff or something, and you go, man, what can I cut out of here? Maybe there's some
Exactly.
stuff like I really, got to the point where I'm like, hey, I'm not gonna bring my kill kit with me anymore. Like unless I'm going deep or something in an area I don't know or whatever. Like I'm not gonna bring certain things. It might have cut a pound out of my pack, but that's a pound. How many miles we go or whatever, man, that can really add up if I do that. And then like, dude, I was like taking like sometimes I clean out my bag at the end of the hunting season and stuff. I have like two full water bottles in there. I'm like, why do I have two full water bottles? So like stuff like that maybe you can
Hmm.
just consolidate you. And like me, my suggestion is get a small backpack. Like don't get a big one because guess what? I'm one of them people that if you can fit something in a pocket, I'm gonna fit something in that pocket.
Hmm.
So maybe that's the time where you start to reevaluate your stuff. But yeah, dude, starting walking, running. I mean, I think a lot. Just walking is such a great thing, and you can do it with your kids or whatever. I know a lot of people have kids and stuff. Just push them in a stroller or have them jump on one of their little bikes or whatever and walk inside with them. I mean,
Sure.
it's very attainable. 15, 20, 30 minutes, man.
Easy.
All you can do. I
Yep.
mean, just
Yep.
go out there. So
Yeah, something's better than nothing.
yeah,
And like what Joe said earlier, with ended up tweaking his back after that. It's you went from nothing to every day though.
yeah. So
So working when you first start off, if you really haven't done anything all summer, working those rest days because that's just as important. Um, back when you're in college and you're 20 something, yeah,
yeah.
you have the world on your shoulders. You can do anything you want and you're fine. But especially as you get up there in 30s and 40s and stuff like that, recovery is a little bit more important.
Yeah.
So, start slow. Don't be afraid to work up. Don't jump all the way in, or next thing you know, you're going to be out with the throw out your back or
Yeah.
hurt your hips or do whatever, and that's never fun. Then it's going to set you back even more than where you were at. So, start low. Yeah, just put your boots on and start walking some hills. Walk slow and then walk fast, and then once you're comfortable with that, throw on your pack and start slow and then
Yeah.
move up fast. So progress up. You got a month. Here in Michigan. So, if you're a Wisconsin, I think they're September 14th or something, 15th this year. So yeah, you might have 2 weeks. So you might need to progress a little bit quicker, but anything is better than nothing.
Yeah.
So just getting weight on your back and walking is really crucial to early season success, in my opinion.
And that's why when we started this series and stuff, everybody's like, well, September. What do you mean? Like it's we still have a whole month of stuff we can get done. Well, like you said, Wisconsin's opening up. You got the youth seasons, you got Liberty seasons and stuff like that. That's really going to change a lot of factors. So like that's not the time you need to be out in the woods and stuff, and you're definitely not going to do it the week before.
Hmm.
So I mean, it's really not. I mean, yes, it is 30 days technically till we open up from September, but uh, it's not. It's coming quick, and it's like you said. So yeah, definitely like working your stuff and all that, and yeah, taking your time. Rest days, dude. That was probably one of my demises for sure because I was
Hmm.
doing it every day. I made a goal that I wanted to do it every day and increase every day. Not having a rest day really doing that, and I failed my goal. So
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah. So if you would have started slower, then you might have achieved
yeah,
your goal in the long run.
I think I
But
should have worked in more rest days because like
hmm.
that day you're really like hurting and stuff. Like I should have been like did like hey every seventh day or something, just take one day
Right.
off and stuff. So
I was on a run yesterday and I wanted to do 4 or 5 miles or so, and within a quarter mile, my knee had a sharp pain in it, and I was like, I stretched a little bit, and I ended up bailing on my run a half mile in, and was like, you know what, stretching tonight is going to be more important because my eye is on the long term, not the short term. Like,
yeah,
yeah, I'm not going to get my run in today,
yeah,
so what? But I will next week.
yeah. Knowing your limitations is
Hmm.
one huge thing. So
Yep. And another key to comfort is your boots. So have you even put on your boots? I would hope so with setting cameras and scouting and everything like
yeah,
that. But are you? What about your late season boots? Or if you've been wearing hiking boots and you hunt in rubber boots, or vice versa, or whatever it may be, have you checked on them? Have you cleaned them? Have you conditioned them? Waterproofing. Did you get new boots? You know, everyone over the summer when they're running deals or up at TAC or something like that, when you get show specials, gets a new set of boots and then they sit there for a bit. You don't want the first time you're wearing your boots to be when you're walking out in the woods. You got a 2 mile walk ahead of you, and next thing you know, you got a blister quarter mile in.
Yeah.
That's going to make for a miserable night. So, you know, if especially if you have new boots, get those things on, get them broken in. That's what I'm doing right now. Is breaking in a new set of boots that I don't plan on wearing until late November, but I want to make sure that they're everything exactly perfect fit. The fit is fine. The functionality of it, everything is perfect for me. So I'm doing that now, just in case it's not. Then I have time.
Yeah. You don't. I mean, there's like two things. Like I don't use rubber boots too much anymore, but last year I did use them. Was it last year? I think it was last year. Don't quote me on that. I got these rubber boots from Irish Shedder. I thought they were, you know, I always had Irish Shedder with work and all that. So I got them out there. You know, I had not even 10, 15 miles on these boots, and I went out there, and it literally, the rubber part around that just ripped in half.
God, I remember you mentioning that. It's
Dude,
crazy.
just like the worst, because it's like mid-November or something, just like that. Like, stuff like that will happen. Like, you'll have, like, if maybe it was something on me I didn't notice or something, maybe that, but like, but actually rubber boots, you know, if you have like the gum leaves and all that, fill up a toe, stand in water for, you know, a minute or something, or I don't know what the water resistant level of that. But if you stand in water for 10, 20 seconds and you're good, all right, you're not going to find out you have a leak and, well, it's 20 degrees out. So,
Right. Yeah, no kidding.
and then some oil or whatever, waterproofing and all that, you can just waterproof your boots. That's something I always forget to do and all that if you run like leathers or whatever. So,
Yep. Yeah, for my leather boots, I have a that's why I just got the hiking boots more so. They're barefoot boots, by the way.
barefoot boots. I don't even know what that is.
They're very flexible. They're flat, a zero drop. So not like a thick sole on them. So I'm trying them out for the first time.
That's what they're called, barefoot boots.
Yeah, Vivo Barefoot is the brand.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll show them to you. But
There's a market for everything.
there is.
You're probably like their third customer.
Pretty big company. They make a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But every other time I'm in the woods, this is for hill country. It's the only reason why I bought them. But 100% of the time when I'm scouting, hunting, everything like that, I wear rubber boots. And last year I ripped mine October 2nd. I was out on a hunt and ripped them. So I had to get a new pair and break them in while I was hunting. And yeah, that was miserable. And with rubber boots, you do have to condition them. I think it's called Granger's rubber conditioner. Leather boots, you have the wax sealant if they're not waterproof. So yeah, comfort starts with your feet. If you're not taking care of your feet, you're going to have a miserable time.
New laces.
Sure.
You know, something 3, 4 years old, put a new lace on there, man. If you go on a 7-day hunt or out of town and you blow out a lace and you don't have like a Walmart or anything near you, not gonna be a good time.
Wasn't it on one of the Latitude Grind episodes where Alex had like the broken ass lace?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, maybe if you have paracord,
Right.
you can sound something out, but it's just something like you can just know that, like, okay, do that. So,
yeah, another part of your training needs to be setting up. If the last time that you set up your saddle or your stand was December 30th, and do you remember everything that you need to do? Do you remember all those steps to be as efficient and quiet, reduce or minimize movements, all that sort of stuff? Did you get a new set of sticks, or did you switch from a saddle to a stand? So now your setup is completely different. So have you actually climbed with your setup for this year? If you're just getting into self-filming, have you set up your camera arms? If you got a new gear strap, have you used that? There's so much that goes into from when you get to the base of the tree till you're hunt ready. Have you done all of that? And have you done it in a gnarly, nasty tree, or only in that on the telephone pole in your backyard where it's absolutely perfect?
yeah.
You got to think about all that.
That's what I was just about to say. Like, if you got, okay, you're learning your setup or whatever, you got some new toys or whatever, new sticks, whatever, stand, whatever platform, blah, 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 blah. if you want to hone in your stuff, go up there, get it all down. You be like, okay, I'm gonna put my sticks here, and blah 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 blah, and all that. Go to a tree that you go, I'm gonna get in that efficiently. But it's not gonna be fun. But just because that might be the tree, there ain't a lot of telephone pole trees where you need to be. I mean, I've been in trees where when the old ratchet or cam buckle straps, I put three of them together to get my sticks up there, and then
Jeez.
and then put my platform with three trees bundled together. That's the trees I had to be in. So I mean, I've been in some sketchy trees, but I was safe. But I'm just saying, go to a tree where you go. This got a lot of limbs. I'm gonna have to work around these limbs. Your linemen or whatever and all that. Try to be most efficient while it's obviously daylight and you're in your kind of home turf or whatever, just in case something does happen. But, you know, find the mistakes now, you know what I mean? And then, or, and like I said, get all your stuff, like find your system now, not in the woods, you know what I mean? You're just, man, I should have did this, or, I should have these aiders on this sticks, the first two sticks instead of the last two sticks. That's the good time to do it. And you said it perfectly, man. Like, it's not going to be the perfect scenario when you get out there. It's not going to be there, no brush, no nothing. So, all that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I switched from a saddle and a stand, or saddle and a platform last year to a stand this year. I'm gonna try a hybrid. I still have a platform, I still have my ring of steps and everything, so I'm proficient with that. But setting up a stand because where I hunt is sometimes a stand is better for it. So I just wanted to have all those options. And what I have done is when I'm doing my spot prep and identifying those trees and prepping those trees and everything, I brought my stand out there and would set the stand up. So it's like this is exactly one where my stand needs to be, and two in the exact tree that I'm going to plan on hunting. So you don't get any better practice than that. It's like a free dry run, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, even out in your backyard, a telephone pole is still better than nothing.
Hmm.
But I challenge you to get into those gnarly trees, the leaners, the one with branches that you have to climb around, all that sort of stuff. You have to practice, or that first time you're going to be going up into the tree, it's going to take you forever. You're going to be making noise. You're going to be moving a lot. You're going to be sweating your ass off by the time you get up
Yeah.
there. You're going to be frustrated. It's not going to make for a good experience, and that's
Yeah.
not what we're here for.
And I know this is not November weather, but like, learn your system where you're gonna have your puffy or your jackets and stuff in your in your bag. Like, start playing with that stuff when you get late season stuff, you know, because like you said, you're gonna be sweating and all this other stuff. So I've made that mistake of wearing all my thick stuff in there, and then when you set up, and then an hour later you're freezing because of all that. So just learn a good system now. Yeah, I'm using your stand. No one can see your setup right now. That looks great, but like, can you fit your jacket on there? I know you can, but I'm just saying, like, can you fit that on there? Can you do that? Like, look at it beyond opening day. You know what I mean? Like, okay, when it drops down to 20 or 30-degree days, like, can I put my jacket on? Like, if I'm really walking in, I don't want to be wearing that, to be honest. Like, I rather be freezing on the walking in and just sweat really hard and then put a jacket on to keep that core temperature and all that down or up. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, shooting from the elevated stand, man. I think that's what a lot of people just first time drawing it back is on a live animal is not the time to be doing that for the first time and learning that, your bridge is in your way or something is not the right, and especially on your weak side and all that. Even though I like weak side shots, I don't know why, but I like a weak side shot. But that's just me. So
I got my buck this year in weak side.
yeah,
Take the bow around. Yeah, have you even shot from your weak side? That's a question you have to
yeah.
ask yourself. If you're in a saddle or a stand, yeah, and you're used to shooting that 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock position or so. Have you ever taken a shot at 3 o'clock? How are you going to move your bow around if you have a ridiculously long stabilizer? Like the first time. I got serious about archery. I had a 12-inch stabilizer and I hunted with it. A huge front bar, and it's like trying to navigate that around a tree was a pain. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't practice that because I didn't know any better. So you have to think of all of those scenarios that you run into. Um, think about all the deer that you saw previously. Even if it was just a fawn or something like that. Like, how would you set up to shoot it? What would you have to do? How would you have to move and practice those? If you have a branch in the way, let's say, have you ever squatted down or stood up on your tippy toes or shot from a seated position or had to get on your knees if you hunt on the ground, sitting down, all these other angles that you know I there's not too many guarantees in the deer woods, but standing on flat ground, uh, shooting at a target that's not going to move is probably the only guarantee that won't happen.
Mm.
So you have to
Yeah.
practice every other thing beyond that.
Yeah, and even from a stand, I know a lot of people are saddle driven right now, but just even stands, just like, you're standing up there and you got the tree in front of you. How can you make that shot? And then obviously the angle compensation and all that. I mean, it's different from shooting from the ground. I mean, not huge, but there is you know, some differences and stuff. So you really got to play with your stuff and to figure out where's the best position for you to shoot. And then I challenge you to maybe do some harder shots. Be like, hey, I'm gonna try it on the weak side, lean in a little bit. Be safe, obviously, but like maybe just do some Hail Mary shots. Be like, dude, if he was walking and all this and I had to go all the way around this tree and do that shot, try that. And then I do this sometimes. Set up your camera. You're gonna climb this tree and take some shots or whatever. Just go through the whole motion, like you see a deer, all that. But set up your camera, videotape you with your phone or whatever. Sit up here and watch yourself from the tree, well, how you're doing your movements. You go, oh fuck, I'm moving pretty fast. I get it. There's not a deer, but like, what can I do to minimize my movement? And then, like, or oh man, I thought I was concealed up there. I got blue skies behind me, and you can see everything. Everything. So do that. You can do that. I mean, you don't have to, but I'm just saying there's stuff that you can do like that, and just from a third person view or outside view, you can look at that and be like, damn, dude, I look like a blob up there or something. I got to do something, or just you can really hone in your craft and all that with that stuff.
Yeah, and when it comes to bow shots too, that you might not think about is what's the longest you ever held at full draw? Do you have to train that? That's something that I've started to do. Set a 60-second timer and hold. Because if that buck gets held up or he busts you and he's looking at you, you can't let down. You can't So you got to wait for your opportunity. If you're stuck behind a tree, and that's that last shooting lane that you have, you got to hold it.
Yeah.
So are you training for that? Um, Another one that I do is I'll actually hold my bow and then pretend like the deer is walking, and as soon as so I'm moving it right to left, let's say, and as soon as my crosshair hits the target, I pause for a second and then shoot. So simulate like that deer is walking and you're tracking him, and then as soon as he hits your shooting lane, you get your shot. There's that. Or quick draws, so you just draw and you got 1 second to pull the trigger. Obviously, that some of that stuff can induce some, target panic or
Yeah.
anything like that. So know your archery ability. But if you have the ability to practice those real world scenarios, then do that.
Hmm.
You never know.
Yeah. You may look goofy doing that stuff and all that, but you're like, I'd rather be trying it then than and just even if you do that and you miss the target or something. I'm like, wow, I'm glad I'm not gonna do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because big deer in front of you or any deer in front of you can make you do goofy things, and you get to go. I did that last time at home, and I pretty messed that up. So yeah, and holding your bow is that's a I'm I think I got a weak hold or a stronger hold and all that, but I just feel like after like 30, 40 seconds, you're just like, you target pan. It's like, dude, you got to do something, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So, like that can really play with your mind and all that. Even if no deer in front of you, you can just go like, this is not natural. Don't be holding this long. So
Yeah, not only is it physically tiring, it's mentally
yeah,
tiring, you know, because it's like if you're just sitting there watching your pin float, and it's like shoot, you know, your mind is telling you like, okay, it's ready. Like
yeah,
you gotta fight that. Like, no, this is a physical exercise, not a mental
yeah.
exercise.
I don't know if in that scenario, if I'm pulling away my anchor, I'm holding it back, but I'm not anchoring down, not sitting at anchor the whole time. I don't know. It's got to be a really big scenario. If I knew it was going to be like a minute, I'm just going to be holding like this without anchor. Then I'm going to set when he comes back out. That's me, maybe,
Mhm.
but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if that's would be any better. I feel like I'd start fucking losing my mind just looking through a 5/4 or whatever, quarter-inch, eighth-inch hole for
True.
2 minutes. I don't know. It's just like one of them things. Like maybe this is me, but
Yeah, I'll usually hold it at anchor, but not look through.
yeah, maybe
I'll
that's
kind of
better.
just
I
move
think
my head
that
off to the side or
yeah,
something
that's
like that.
something. But
But
I just figured maybe if you're like for a minute, like you're fucking don't you're making moves that you're not naturally thinking about, and all of a sudden you're anchored, your freaking hands behind your neck, you're like, or
mhm.
something. I don't know. So yeah, that's something you just practice that, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of the point of this whole framework is to get you ready for season. And it's not just spot preparation or getting your cameras out or that sort of stuff. It's we're trying to make you think about everything that can go into what can make you a successful hunter in during season. And I can tell you this: you will be facing some difficult, some odd situations, shot angles, getting in and around branches and shooting through brush and trying to find shooting lanes. I mean, if you're 1 minute before the legal light and your biggest buck of your life is out in front of you and you have a split second to put it between two trees or something like that, like you can't practice for this. So you have to think of these different
Yeah.
scenarios and try to practice from it. Because when it comes crunch time, I don't know about you, but my brain shuts off. Like I rely on I look at the deer, I make an instant like shooter, yes or no.
Hmm.
If yes, my brain turns off and I just go into my shot
It
process.
yeah, it's all muscle memory at that
Hmm.
point, and just me, I've just done the shot process so many times. It's just, I know, I'm sure everybody has done that, but it's just like one of them things that this autopilot will take in and all that. So I don't know if that was just the training or me just shooting so much. I mean, but it's just one of the things I'm glad I have because I know there's some bad forms you can do if you're not paying attention, but I just think there's like so much time and preparation, and I'm not saying you have to do everything we just said to like if you don't do none of them you're not going to be successful. That's not what we're
No,
saying.
not at all.
But we're just saying if we can control some of the human error or the physical fit, like the physical side of it, like I get it, man, everybody's busy, but man, wait till you like drag a deer out, man. Just like that, just is always testing me and go, I am a gross. To me, this is what I personally say about myself. I'm like, I'm gross, dude. You can't even do this to the doe's only a 90, 100 pounds. Like, what the hell, dude? But, I mean, it's just one of them things like, I think this is what people really we lay it out for them and they can choose what they want to do, the smorgasbord. I'm good on the physical fit side. Maybe I'm weakened on the practice in the climb or shooting side. Like, then focus all on that. Don't worry about that. You're good on physical fit. Just know your weaknesses. I think that's the strongest thing you can do is know your weaknesses and then capitalize on that.
Hmm.
And
One thing actually just popped in my head too is I really like to do sprints and then shoot. There is no better way to train yourself for that adrenaline dump of a big buck standing in front of you than have your heart rate being pinned at like 150. You're sweating, you're shaking, and you just got to rip off 3 shots at 60 yards or something like that. Like that really is humbling.
yeah.
Um, so incorporate some of that stuff. I shoot in my basement now, so I don't have the ability to do that anymore. So I'll hop on the treadmill or do some burpees or jump rope or anything like that just to get my heart rate up just to simulate that. And again, it's just one of those situations that you're trying to train for. So once the opportunity does come, you're as prepared as possible.
Right. And if this is like some people just pulling the bow out and all that for the first time this year, like just you have 30 days, man. Just make it a small goals. Like I want to shoot 5 sets of five, 5 sets of three or something. But this is where it comes into, if you're going out there and you're having a bad day, there's two things you can do. You can really step back and go, I'm done for the day. Because just having a bad day, just forming it out, you're just going to continue a bad habit, and that's not good. You're feeding that fire. You're just going to frustrate yourself. You just really go set back and go, okay, what am I doing wrong? I was really good yesterday. Don't start tinkering with things like, oh, I think it's this. Like, well, just, hey, am I gripping it wrong? Really go back and you can really, go Joel Turner, uh, John Dudley, all these elk shaped guys. I mean, there's a lot of great people, and there's some people I know people don't like. Like, there's a lot of people. There's a great internet is full of stuff. So if there's some stuff like you noticing that you're not liking, go on the internet, research it. Just go on it or ask people. Like me and Dave, and even on our other groups, we talk to other people, even stuff we think we are pretty knowledgeable on. We still want other people's opinion on it. I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? Like, what do you want on this? Like shooting is like one of them things I don't think you can ever really truly master.
I mean, even just the other day, Bergie hit me up.
Yeah.
He was like 2 inches low or an inch low at 80 yards. Like the dude is a phenomenal shot. Like he is one of the best shooters that I know. And he's like, I don't know what's going on. Like, and I'm like, I can't help you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like your 80-yard group is better than my 50 or 60-yard
Yeah.
group. But his sight tape was a half yard off. So that puts it in perspective for people.
Yeah. And that's all it takes is a half yard at, once you start getting into that long bomb, 80, 90, 100, dude, half yard is just crazy. I mean, if you look at like tournament archery and stuff, when they do max yard, it's usually like 50 yards. But like, if them guys misjudge a half yard, it's like an inch or something drop sometimes. And that could be the difference between $10,000 or
Second place.
second place.
Yeah, right.
So like, it's crazy. Like, and that's a whole different level than hunting. But it's just like I don't know. Maybe that's a good one. Maybe start practicing your judging. Just go, hey, that's 20 yards. The deer takes a couple more steps, or you take. I know I'm at 20 yards to this one tree. I marked this tree. Everybody does that. This tree's 20. That one's 30. That one's 50 or whatever. There. Okay, move 4 or 5 steps. Go. I think this is 24 and a half. Simulate the deer is going to move a little bit from your 20-yard tree or something, or you ranged them and he moves a couple more steps. Walk a couple of it more. Throw them odd shots out there, 23 and a half, 34 and a half, 38 or something. Just don't do the even 30, 35, 40s or wherever your pins are. If you're just a multi-pin guy, like your 30, 40, 50-yard pins or whatever, don't do them shots. Do them oddballs. Do your pin gaps and all that. Hone that in.
That's a great point. Because I have the Fast Eddie triple stack.
Yeah.
So it's 3 vertical pins, but it's still a slider. And I have it 20, 30, 40. And that's something that I made it a goal this year, is to shoot a 3D shoot without touching my sight. So just knowing the range and not doing unknown, because I'm not like our buddy TJ, it's a human rangefinder.
Yeah.
But so knowing the range, but being able to pin gap, because you're right. Yeah, if the deer did bound off 5 yards and you're not exact, do you know how high to hold over? I'm a heavy arrow guy, so like my trajectory, my pins are very much so opened up compared to lighter arrow guys. So I know that I have to aim higher I have to compensate more, let's say, because of my setup. And that's something that I haven't practiced as much because I've always just dialed my sight. Even with a 3-pin, I'll still dial if I can.
Right.
If you have the time, sure. But if that deer busts you, bounds off 5, 6, 7, 8 yards, you got to shoot.
Yeah.
You can't let down.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And like we were just talking about, A yard, 2 yards on a misread could be the difference between double lung heart shot to disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Sure.
or back, and
And if you have one of those Morel high rollers, I have one. That's the only reason I named that one specifically. But any small, roundish target with a rope, throw it,
yeah,
and shoot,
yeah.
and then range it afterwards.
And you make a great point. Like I can go in my backyard and I know my yard. It's your home turf and all that. Maybe go somewhere else, go to a field or whatever, or like you said, maybe go somewheres in the yard you never shot before. Make it uncomfortable. Be comfortable and uncomfortable.
Good
So
point.
yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I think that's great. I mean, I think we kind of hit some points. We still have some. There's lots of stuff to do in September still, even though not getting in the woods. So
Yep. Yep. Still plenty to do. We still got 3 more weeks, so it's getting close. The youth hunt's going to be here soon. The early doe is going to be the weekend after, and then next thing you know, it'll be opening day.
geez, I can't wait. I'm excited.
Yep.
You know,
Last thing, get out there and shoot your bow. That's
yeah,
what we've been talking about.
yeah,
That's how we're going to end every episode.
yeah,
Shoot your bow, man.
yeah. Shoot your bow.